So we know that a lot of things that actually go on in this world, in the universe, in the cosmos, they put into the movies. They put into the TV shows, the real stuff, and then they put the fake stuff on the news and try to make that seem real and try to make the fake stuff, try to make the real stuff seem fake as if it's, just imaginary, which, the imagination exists in the fourth dimension. But I went to go see Doctor Strange just now. And I've been waiting for this movie to come out ever since I seen the first one. I'm real tapped into the MCU. I think they have a lot of different symbols and representation of things that make a lot of sense, and they have a lot of different occult practices, occult meaning, and we're gonna dive into it. So I'm gonna get right into it. So basically, starting off, we got the young lady. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, then if you don't want to, if you weren't planning on seeing it, then you can watch the video. If you were gonna go see it, then just gonna be spoilers in it. So that's a spoiler alert. America, which is the young lady in the movie, she tells Doctor Strange, "You weren't dreaming last night. When I seen you, that was an alternate universe. When we dream, we go into alternate universe." So this can be considered a theory or whatever. My interpretation of this is basically there are many things that we have access to when we dream. The dream world exists in the astral plane, like I mentioned in my last video. Once you are in the astral plane, you have access to many different parts of the universe, many different dimensions. Once you get to the fourth dimension, which is the astral plane, you're able to go to the fifth dimension and above. You're able to go into the quantum world. You're able to go to different universes, alternate universes. It just depends on your level of consciousness. It depends on the level of power that you have in your soul, how much light you have in your soul. And so I think by them saying that, the fact that everyone who was powerful in their dreams, they were the ones that were basically having the access to these alternate universes because their level of consciousness is higher than the average person. Not to say that average people weren't able to do that, but that's my interpretation of that. We all have access to multiple different realities, but also many different things, different dimensions, different access to different gods, many things. Memory Lane. There was a place where they went to in one of the alternate universes where they were able to stand on this platform, and they gave them insights to different parts of, I believe it was earlier parts of their life, or a multiple. I forgot exactly what it was, but basically what it reminded me of, what my interpretation of it was, the Akashic Records. So the Akashic Records is where everything exists from, from our past lives, from our ancestors, from the life that we live right now, from different lifetimes of maybe when we were on our earth. Everything that ever happened is in the Akashic Records. And this is something that we all have access to. There's actually someone that I've seen has a spiritual business who she literally has a gift of being able to tap into, have access to the Akashic Records, and can tell people different things about their past lives. But is it really a gift? Yeah, we all have access to it, but we all haven't developed a sense. So the Akashic Records is memory lane. Dream walking, going into another universe. So basically, when I first seen this, I thought of lucid dreaming, but then it's basically going into another universe through with your projecting with your consciousness, or going with your physical body. The young lady in the movie, she had the ability to bring her actual physical. She was the only person that can do that, because our physical bodies are limited to what we can experience on a spiritual level, because this is a very dense, body aspect. We are able to go into different worlds, dimensions, realms with our conscious mind, because that conscious aspect of ourself exists on a higher level, which I said before. From the fourth dimension, then you can go into different dimensions. She was the only person that was able to do that. It is a movie, so a lot of things that they say are real. But who knows? Maybe there are people that can be able to do that. There's definitely beings, but their body wouldn't be third dimensional. It would be fourth dimensional. This is where it gets important. And this is where things have really strong representations, and you have to see it a certain way to be able to understand it and be able to apply it. Doctor Strange fighting himself in the dark hold in a different universe. See, a lot of different practices or spiritual, groups, civilizations, way of living, like the just their way of magic or their way of spirituality. When we're talking about healing or growing, evolving, the first step is always fighting your demons. In many of these practices, this is because the lower aspect of yourself is is basically what we would consider our demons. This is where you have to, in order to have access to your higher self, you first have to face your lower self. A lot of people, a lot of way that we look at the world sometimes is, okay, what is happening to me? What we people that grow up Christian want to blame the devil or different demons for different things that are happening to them, but the reality most of the time is that these are your own demons that you have yet to face. And once you face these demons, then you're able to have access to your higher self and be able to have control over what energy you invite into your life. But you first have to face that inside of yourself. And this is something that I seen in the movie. He went into the alternate universe. The whole world was chaotic. The two universes merged. I believe that was Doctor Strange doing. He went into the New York, forgot what it was called, the where he kept the stone, the time stone, and it was a version of himself that was in the dark hole. And basically, he had to end up fighting that version of himself and killing him. He killed that version of himself, and then he was able to have access to a. Then that's when he meditated, and he brought the candles to him, and he was able to use the dark hole to then go back to his original universe. That brings me to my next point: candles. To go to dream or to use to go into the alternate reality. He basically bought his consciousness and he possessed his dead body. So candles, every time you see this in movies, whenever there's like a spiritual thing going on or something that has to do with possession, see, this is a use of the five elements. So the five elements are water, earth, fire, air, and ether or spirit, which would basically be like your own consciousness, your own imagination, your own intention of what you're trying to use. Because when you use the five elements, or when you use the first four elements, you're using that as a bridge between this physical world and the fourth dimension. Because basically it's like each of these four different symbols, you basically got earth representing earth, and then you have water representing, I'm gonna try to make this fast, my camera's dying. You have water representing, all of these five elements are basically things that exist inside of ourselves and exist outside in the universe. I mean, our exist out in our outer world. And each of these different elements are a symbol that basically connects us. Each has a specific purpose. Whenever we see candles, that's basically a use of one of the elements being able to connect you to a different dimension. And that's why Scarlet Witch used the candles when she accessed the first, and then Doctor Strange used it to go into because an important aspect to be able to go to a different dimension. Strange, my next point, Strange using using demons to fight his demons, and using the dark force. So the thing is, if you ever heard you can't fight fire with fire, this is not necessarily true, because if you are fighting something that's a demonic force, a lot of the times what you use, demonic force is a chaotic force. Whenever you're fighting in general, that's already a demonic type of action. That's already a demonic type of, association, or just a demonic thing. You're using demonic energy. So basically, all of these demons that basically possessed his corpse, he basically had control over them to use that to fight his battle. This is a true thing, because whenever we are engaging in some type of altercation, we are using chaotic energy regardless. This is something that they tapped into the first Doctor Strange, where the master that he went to Carmitage with, she was tapping into the dark force, the dark energy. The thing is, dark and good and evil are only concepts that we've made up with our own mind, this third dimensional world. It doesn't necessarily exist. There's chaotic energy, and then there's order. There's light, and then there's dark. You can't have one exist without the other, but they're different aspects of, you feel what I'm saying, of the same coin in a way. It's different sides of the same coin, but you kind of need, the balance of both. Depending on whatever you tap into, that's, whatever you do. whatever you tap into, that is up to you. You know, there's people that walk the dark path and people that walk the light path. But when it comes to engaging in warfare, you will be best in your best bet to be powerful, to, you know, will be to tap into the energies that are meant to destroy. So that is why he basically gain control instead of trying to let go of those demons or try to fight those demons. That they weren't those weren't his demons, those are demons, and he took control over them to be able to use them to fight his fight. And you know, this was a very dark movie, but it has a lot of, you know what I'm saying, you know, it has a lot of, you know, different meanings to it, and a different, that's what I see when I see that. I'm like, you know what, that makes sense. I mean, he wasn't going to use any angelic force to be able to fight that. And no, and I'm not saying that there aren't powerful entities that are good, or that aren't, you know, light beings like that are on the lighter side that can't, you know, engage in warfare, because it is. But that's more of a peaceful energy. That's more of a defensive energy. When you're defending yourself, you pray to the gods. See, now when you want to go for somebody's neck, you tap into demonic energy. That's why, you know, a lot of hip hop and rap culture, they say, oh, I'm a demon and stuff like that, because they're engaging in warfare on a daily practice. It's a daily practice. The thing I'm gonna end on before the camera dies is Wanda was also fighting her demons at the end. That's how the movie was resolved. She went into the parallel universe. She seen her sons, and, you know, that demonic version of herself faced the, you know, the other version of herself with the sons, and she had to look herself in the mirror basically and say, I am the cause of, you know what I'm saying, all of this going on right now, so I'm going to destroy the dark force. And she destroyed it in every parallel universe. But she had to look inside of herself first and see the evil that was inside of herself to be able to know to make the right decision. That's a very important message of this whole movie. We have to face our own demons before we can fight any demons in the world. And before we want inner peace, before we can see the truth of who we are, we have to see the good qualities and the bad qualities. And the first step in many of these practices is fighting your own demons. So, you know, that's my interpretation of the movie. Let me know what you guys think. Very good movie. I like it. I think seeing it with a different perspective kind of gives you the full, you know, aspect of what you're going on. Especially when you use your imagination and you realize a lot of these things are connected to, you know, real things. You know, you get to see it from a different perspective. You get to use your imagination, almost like a kid version of yourself. But with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe. And, you know, we out here. Let me know what you guys think.